Hey yo guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we continue on that trip, the road to the Pixel 4. I am still excited for the Pixel 4 regardless of what the big timers are saying all across YouTube, but some of the big timers are actually hitting some very cool points, and I do want to talk about those points in this video because they are validated points. Now, some of the other stuff is going to be like subjective type things, but then there are some things that they're saying that is absolutely crucial. Like, for instance, it is absolutely crucial that Google prices the Pixel 4 correctly. Now, do I think that by Google and the Pixel 4, if anything flops, if anything fails, that the Pixel is completely dead? No. Anything that dies from an idiotic decision can be resurrected. Hence the iPhone. And if you guys don't believe me, then maybe you guys should go check out Chris Pirillo and listen to his thoughts about iOS and the iPhone for the longest time. And now a lot of those issues that he had issues with have been corrected with newer versions of iOS and newer hardware. So is it possible for a company that makes dumb decisions to bring back their flagship and resurrect it? Yes. Obviously so. So if the Pixel 4 flops, the Pixels are not dead. I like the Pixel phones, I actually do. I am recording this video with the Pixel 1. I have a Pixel 3 and I have a 3A, and I love using either one of those devices as my main phone. I love using them. Sure, the Pixel 1 is slowly going to have to fade away because it lacks LTE bands that certain carriers have. Therefore, the signal connection is not always going to be the greatest compared to something newer. But again, I'm a geek, and that's one thing that Painfully Honest Tech said in his video regarding the Pixel possibly being doomed, is that geeks are the ones that care about those little subtle features like Project Soli and air gesture movements and stuff like that. He's absolutely right about that. Consumers out there don't care about that. I can walk down ASU campus right now and interview people if I wanted to, which would probably make for a good video, so I may actually do that one day. But I can ask them if they're considering getting the Pixel 4, and I'm pretty sure some of them were rocking iPhones are not even considering Google and their flagship at all. But if some have heard of the Pixel, and if some have been interested in the Pixel, they're definitely not looking for it to do air gestures or any of that stuff, right? They just want a phone that takes good pictures, obviously, because cameras is what consumers care about nowadays. Everyone's got to look good on Instagram, so hey, and then obviously being able to access Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and things like that. That's all that consumers really care about. Watching YouTube videos and Netflix and Hulu and that kind of stuff. They don't really care about the geeky stuff, the nerdy and techie stuff. They don't care about it. That's not why they buy a smartphone. Us geeks do. A lot of content creators on YouTube who are geeks are the ones that are watching closely to this to see the pricing of the phone versus what you're getting out of it. But again, that's from a geek's perspective. They talked about market share. They talked about what companies sell more phones and whatnot. And yes, it is disheartening to know that the Pixel has less of a market share than LG does. And LG, we know, me personally, I like LG devices. I think they're great. I think they're doing good. But reality is that they don't sell as much as the Galaxy devices do. They don't sell as much as iPhones do. And so that is the reality of it. Even with the LG G8 and its air gesture control, which only has a limited function to it, still wasn't enough to entice consumers to go through. And I think that's what's really suffering in mobile tech, to my opinion, okay, is the fact that there are less geeks involved in mobile tech than there are consumers. Consumers win, and they're always going to win. No question about that, because you could be a consumer. You don't have to be interested in mobile technology to be a consumer, but to be a geek about mobile technology, you've got to be really into it in order to be considered that. And there are less of us compared to regular consumers any day of the week, regardless if we were to convert people, if we were to teach people about what Project Soli is, if we were to teach people about what the iPhone's triple cameras can do, if we were to teach people all that stuff, it still wouldn't amount the amount of what consumers are out there day to day. That's the absolute truth behind it. The Pixel 4 coming out, a lot of people who, whether they say they do or don't, you can kind of tell they do care about the Pixel and they do like it, because they are worried. There's fear in them. There's fear that this thing is going to flop. There's fear that it's going to be priced wrong. John Prosser for Front Page Tech said that Google's got all its ducks in a row. All they got to do is stick the landing. And that's absolutely true. That's all they got to do. And to stick the landing, they have to price this thing right. No one's going to walk into a carrier, and I'm quoting Painfully Honesty Tech. No one is going to walk into a carrier and look at the Pixel, and because the Pixel is priced over $1,000, like a Galaxy, like an iPhone, they're not going to go in there and be like, well, it has to be as good as them, so let me buy it. No. These days, it's certain things that carries weight. Like Samsung is a well-renowned electronics company that's been known for a long, long time. And their phones have been very good, even before smartphones were relevant. With the Samsung Instinct. The Instinct HD was a phone that I had, which I got through Sprint, and I loved that phone. And yeah, it didn't have the operating system like Android. It had its own proprietary operating system, but the Samsung Instinct HD was actually pretty good. And then going forward, even a low budget phone like, what was it called? The Samsung Intercept. Slide out keyboard, kind of bulky, kind of choppy to use, but it was still fun. And you could modify that phone beyond anything. They had so many different ROMs available for it to be flashed on it. You kind of see that where Samsung has been sticking its name at, and where its name carries a lot of weight. LG, recognized electronic company. Motorola, recognized electronics company. They've been around for a longest time. Their name carries weight. So when people walk into a carrier store to buy a phone, they hear Samsung, they don't feel threatened that they're going to have a bad experience. They hear Motorola, they're not going to be threatened that they're going to have a bad experience. The same if they hear LG. The same if they hear Apple. Okay. Pixel's new to the game. And you know what? I think that Google should have done this years ago. Years ago would have been a good time for the Pixel to come into the game. I would say back in like 2012. Would have been the perfect time for Google to kind of like start showing interest in hardware and step away from being software and now being both software and hardware. Like Google should have did this in 2012, where it would have really made, it would have mattered. It would have mattered then. Right now, it's all about cameras. That's all that these companies are competing against. Like Samsung has really made leaps and bounds when they decided to pivot their take on Android. Because remember, Android is the base of Samsung operating system, of LG operating system, of Motorola operating system. It's the base. Android is the base of it, and then you have a skin on top of that. LG had its UX theme on top of that. Samsung back then had TouchWiz, and TouchWiz was like super buggy and super laggy, and people were just aggravated with it. I mean, some people were okay with it. If you were a light user, TouchWiz wasn't really going to show its ugly teeth. But if you were a heavy smartphone user, TouchWiz definitely showed its teeth and showed you what kind of monster it was. And not in a good way, but a monster in the fact that, you just saw so much bugs happen with TouchWiz. But, Samsung stepped its game up and optimized its skin on top of Android, which now we have One UI, which a lot of people love and praise One UI, and they're totally happy with it. And the fact that some people are looking at it and are saying that Samsung is Android because they were able to take their UI and basically optimize it for Android and make it that much better than what Google can do with its own software and its own hardware is a laughable matter. It's a very laughable matter when it comes down to it. So pricing, yes, pricing is a major big thing that would help the Pixel, but it's not going to do anything as far as making it a serious contender in the smartphone industry. Even, I will say that. I will definitely, sign my name onto that. The Pixel 4, if priced right, is not going to make the Pixel a contender against the likes of the Galaxy Note, the iPhone, and the G series by LG, or the Z series by Motorola. Even though I guess the Z series is not really Motorola's flagship, according to them, but who knows what they're going to come out with. It won't. It'll help with the Pixel actually being taken just a little bit seriously, being able to produce a phone with that much features in it and then price it right for the consumers out there. But again, it goes back to the features and geeks. Features and geeks, that's what really goes hand in hand. But features and consumers, not so much. I mean, I can go and stand on top of a building downtown Phoenix and throw a quarter and hit somebody in the head. And if they have an iPhone, I guarantee you they don't use everything of that iPhone. They just use the base things out of it. Making phone calls, communicating with messages through iMessage, FaceTiming their friends, Facebook posts, Facebook photo uploads, Instagram posts. That's pretty much all they do. They don't do anything beyond that. And likely, you know, if you were like, hey, you could jailbreak your iPhone and get more out of it, I guarantee you the consumer doesn't really care. What more they're going to get out of it that they can already do without having to jailbreak it. So again, the issues with the Pixel. One, I don't think that the Pixel is going to die. If Google flops this, they're not going to die, okay? They're just probably going to have to take the same boat that Motorola did and focus more on mid-range, because the Pixel 3a was they knocked it out the park with the Pixel 3a. They did a very damn good job with the Pixel 3a and pricing it and everything. I mean, some people wanted it priced lower, but that's subjective. Really, they didn't go bananas with it, so big ups to Google on that. But going forward, if they don't nail this, then they should really pull back from trying to make a flagship like that and really focus on the mid-range game and let the Pixel be that. Simple enough. I mean, hell, people are asking that they convert the 3A name into a Nexus. And if that's what they're going to do, that's what they're going to do. But if not, then at least keep the Pixel at the mid-range game. So anyways, guys, that's pretty much my rant for today regarding the Pixel 4. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section of the video. I would love to read you guys' responses. If you enjoyed today's video, drop a like to let me know. Hit the subscribe button if you just found this channel and watched this video. Would really appreciate that. And bell option to know when I upload. Yeah, that's it for now. And I'll report more when there is more. But until next time, guys, aloha.